This lecture will explain what is meant by a standard form categorical syllogism, and we'll give some examples. So a categorical syllogism is said to be in standard form if and only if it fulfills all of the following criteria. All of the statements in the syllogism need to be in standard form. So this is a requirement that was also present in just writing a standard form argument. So nothing's changing there. The syllogism needs to contain exactly 3 terms: the major term, the minor term, and the middle term. The premises need to be arranged in the correct order. We start with the major premise first, then the minor premise, and of course each premise is on a separate line. So the premises being on a separate line is, the same as with a standard form argument. But in a standard form argument, the order of the premises didn't matter. You could put them just however they came. But for a standard form categorical syllogism, we need to put the major premise first and then the minor premise. And that's going to be important in helping us identify the form. I will go over that in the lecture on mood and figure. You'll see how that comes into play. And then a line is drawn under the minor premise, which will be the last premise. And this is the same as in a standard form argument. And then the conclusion is written below the line, just like in any standard form argument. So really the only differences between a standard form argument and specifically a standard form categorical syllogism is that the premises need to be in the correct order, and there need to be exactly 3 terms. We'll talk in another lecture about what happens when there aren't exactly 3 terms. So here are some examples. The example on the left is a standard form categorical syllogism. See that the subject is mice, so that's the minor term. So the premise that contains the word mice is here, just above the line. That's the minor premise. Then the major term is mammals. So here the premise containing the term mammals is the first premise, so that's the major premise. And then we have this term rodents, which is common between the 2 premises. So that's the middle term. So you see there are only 3 terms. They're not numbered. Numbering becomes less important because we can always refer to them as major premise, minor premise, as soon as they're in the order. It's nice you can number them if you like. You could even label them major premise, minor premise. But those are kind of extraneous things that are not absolutely necessary. So this is all that's absolutely necessary to be in standard form. And you see, this is the same argument, but it's not in standard form, because here we have, it turns out that the major premise has been put where the minor premise belongs, and vice versa. So the minor premise is where the major premise belongs. So that'll all be pretty easy once you get used to it. And it's a really nice way to organize arguments because everybody's form of the argument for the same argument will look exactly the same. So that's one of the reasons why it's good. We'll get to the other reasons why it's good when we talk about mood and figure.